All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Union. It's Time to Talk, Season 2, Episode 1. Back with the team again. To my left, I have Mr. Mika Wilson, Mr. Anastasia Booker. To my right, I have Mr. Alex Tucker, and also Mr. TJ Booker. How is everybody doing? Man, this is great. It's finally good to be back. It's been a lot that's been going on since the last time we actually sat down and talked. And before we get to the bowl and everything, I want to let everybody know this like I said, this is Season 2. We got a lot of special guests that will be joining us this season as well. And also, I know a lot of our episodes previously in the first season, we kind of went over a little bit. So we also extended the time if necessary. So we want to give you guys as much content and inform you as much as possible. So before we dive into everything, I just want to know how everybody's been feeling at this table. You know, when COVID is still going on, it's just a lot. You know, we're losing a lot of people, a lot of family members and everything. But just reflecting from since the last time we sat down, how is everybody feeling and how just reflect on everything that's been going on?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good. I don't know what is there to reflect on. What are some things you guys think?
Me personally, just kind of you feel bad for the people that you lost. You know, there's a lot of people who lost their life, a lot of family members. So they're still gonna be dealing with that a long time. So I guess COVID is real and it's serious and it affects a lot of people. That's just my outlook on it. And the ones who made it through, I thank God. And the ones that didn't, they just pray for their family and friends. That's my personal take.
I mean, it couldn't have been said better, guys.
Right.
I mean, really and truly, I mean, wise words there. It was tough. It's 2020.
Huh?
It was rough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rough.
It took a lot out of us, didn't it? It tested us, you know, so.
I think we're still being tested right now.
Yeah.
All that other stuff,
Oh yeah.
but
I feel like it's
coming out on the other side.
right. I was gonna say I feel like it's like of course it's still a blessing to be here. You know, at first, like I honestly didn't know what to make of COVID because it was just like you would hear certain doctors say one thing and then somebody else would come back and tell you something different and say by the summertime it will be gone and then it just lingered and carried on throughout the whole year. And of course it's definitely real. I know a lot of people didn't take it serious at first, but now when it started hitting, once it gets close to home, that's when people really start, you know, taking it serious. Then, you know, taking the necessary precautions. And even though it's still going on now, you still be safe. Do everything you need to protect yourself and protect your loved ones and protect other people as well, because you don't want anybody to get sick. And it's just hopefully it's a vaccine. If you want to take the vaccine, that's your choice. But if not, just please. If not for yourself, just do it for other people. That's what I'll tell you. You know, just protect other people. Even if you don't want to wear the mask or whatnot, just do what's best for other people. Because it's like, for me, I always say it's not about me, it's about other people. So serve other people. So just always take those necessary precautions to take care of everybody else, because it is real.
And I can say that as far as reflection on since we've been here, like you said, TJ, COVID has affected us all in different ways. It's affected business, schools, sports, all types of things. I can speak on that from working with the schools at how sports events have changed, buses, you know, classrooms, everything. It's a new norm that we've had to become accustomed to. Even with, you know, making appointments to go to the bank. You know, so much has changed, and we're getting used to it, but I mean, we don't know how long we're gonna have to deal with this, or if it's gonna just, you know, disappear, as they say. But yeah, it's been an effect on pretty much everything in your life, COVID has. So, and the divide in this country that has happened, that also has been a fact. That's a topic you don't want to too much touch on, but yet it's an elephant in the room.
Right.
There's been a divide in our country, divide in our county, with people you've grown up with, divide on social media.
Right.
I mean, it's been ridiculous. So
Right.
hopefully we can resolve
Right.
that. Cause it's 2021.
Right.
I mean, geez.
Yeah.
When you get to that point where you actually find yourself in a situation where you, like my little, we took our children out, and my 2-year-old, this is all he knows, you know.
Right.
So we actually been, you know, cooped up in the house, which was a good thing for us being there to spend time with the family, but I won't say it's a good thing when people lose their lives. So there's no good about it, but it has taught us what was important, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But it's scary though when like I said, I take my little son out, who's 2 years old, and the first time we went out to eat, because these businesses still trying to survive. So you want to be cautious and you still want to support them. And first time he went out at the age of almost 2, he was terrified. And then it really dawned on me, he said, this boy hadn't been nowhere. You know, he's not used to people outside of our home, his grandmothers, his uncles. But as far as going into a store, a restaurant, to sit down and eat, I mean, it was like, he was terrified because he never saw that. And then when we take him somewhere, he automatically put on his mask. You know, he's been trained from as long as he can remember that you wear a mask. So that's sad that
Right.
you can get a 2-year-old to keep a mask on their face.
Yeah.
And when I got a 10-year-old, they putting it down. But
Yeah.
that's scary.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's a new way of life, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
You think we'll begin to continue our habits that we've already had in humankind with being innovative and adjusting to this and like coming up with new ways of doing things? Because, you know, even though, you know, COVID, I feel like it has limited us a lot, it has forced us to be innovative. It has forced us to change the way that we can do business and conceptualize a lot of things, you know. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say a lot of the things that we took for granted before, I feel like we're going to appreciate it so much more when we're able to get back to interacting and traveling the way we used to. At least my hope is that people won't again take it for granted. You know, that we'll really appreciate what it means to go and visit family members in another state, you know. Because a lot of folks just aren't doing that. I know I'm not lying. One thing I know is I think I'm probably going to keep up the mask for a little longer than maybe when people think, oh, everything is good. And I say that because of the flu virus. Because I've been reading that the flu virus is almost non-existent right now. Because people have been wearing their masks.
Which is a good thing.
Right? It's a good thing for that, you know. But just think if people have been wearing their masks before, when it was, you know, quote unquote, just the flu, a lot of people probably get sick. And I know other countries, they wear their masks because of air quality. But in the United States, everybody's so free, you know, I don't want to be inhibited.
Yeah, and I think some of them, if you told not to wear a mask, they would. You know, you just have those people who just feel like it's a conspiracy. But as I reflect, you know me guys are very spiritual. As I reflect, I remember with leprosy in the Old Testament, you was told that if you had leprosy, you covered your mouth, you know, and yelled, leper, unclean, unclean. And you would cover your face to keep saliva from going out.
Really?
So if we really would look at that from the beginning, you see a lot of religions, they cover their face.
I
You
never
know,
knew
this-
that. I never knew that. I never knew that.
and they're
Thank you.
Yeah, they did. It said unclean, unclean. And then the scientists were looking like, wow, how did these people know that if it wasn't inspired by God to know that they cover their face, you could pass out leprosy through saliva.
Wow.
Well, you know, one thing I worry about with it though is, like you said, as far as their interaction, and this is what we're training the kids to know, we come from close human contact, interaction, social, you know, to you're socially distant, you know, it's kind of making everyone become somewhat of an introvert. And there's a lot of people who aren't that way. So it's like, does that affect their mental health? Because I know a lot of people who, they thrive off of going out. They thrive off of social interaction with other people. They thrive off of all of that. And then you're kind of forced to be inside or not as close. You can't hug, you can't touch, you can't, you know, I mean, you can, but it's just safe for not to. So it's like, does that affect some people's mental health? Because like for me, I've always been an introvert. I'm an introvert, but I interact with other people. So it doesn't affect me not to touch other people, but at the same time, when you're just stuck in the house and you can't be around people and you're around just your family and your kids, you can see them on the screen, but you know, you don't have that freedom to, you know, go around and be around others, you know, friends and just interact. It does, it gets to you. So I can imagine what it does to someone who thrives off that, who's used to that, who needs that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure some mental health things going on.
Is COVID a form of institution? Like prison? Do you feel like prisoners feel this way? Like
Yeah.
you gotta stay away. You don't get to interact. You know, I was thinking about that. I was like, wow, are we really going to imprison ourselves here, based off a virus? And I was like, wow. I mean, of course you gotta protect yourself, but I also feel like we ain't got too many more, a lot of years out here.
Yeah. But
You know, so I mean, it's like, you know, you calculated risk.
you know, the thing about it though, it did, one thing I can say that I do like, well, I don't like nothing about COVID because people lost a lot. I can't express that enough. But it did show you what was important. Sometimes, like, it's not a bad thing for children to see their mom and dad at home.
That's not
You know, but then I think about the people who live alone.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for those.
Yeah.
Like me, we had a great time because, you know, I got a big family and my son was home for, you know, doing his break for a month and a half, you know. And like my little man, he's so used to us all being there. So I still want to, don't get away from that, but I do want to see other people also. I just want to, what can we take with this though to a lesson out of it? What you guys think?
I say don't take the things for, it teaches you, like Tamika said, it teaches you not to take certain things for granted. Because for me, I was always like, oh, another game, another this, another that. I'm tired of going. I want to just stay home. And then it's like, now I can't go to anything. And I'm like, I want to go out. I want to go do this. I want to go, you know, see my boys play games or something. But, you know, it teaches you not to take those things for granted. And it teaches you to embrace what you have around you as well, because there's a lot of people who are alone, but yet they have family members that they get to talk to on a regular. They have some type of companionship, you know, some people. So it teaches you that, look at the people you have around you that love you. It kind of shows you the people that you're closest, that are closer to you than you realize. You know, who care the most. And for those who had COVID, you know, who brought your food? Who went to the store for you? You know, that showed you a lot. So you can take those.
And you can't work.
It taught me that not all information is good information.
Yes, a lot of false information.
There's a lot of, you know, people, you know, spreading misinformation. So do your research, you know, do that second and third check on something. And I guess for me, it's you know, when the people are talking about, oh, it's a hoax, it's this, and it didn't matter who, you know, what group of people it was. A lot of people started believing that because they didn't have firsthand experience of it. They didn't know somebody that died from it. So it's like you had to hit home before they actually changed their behavior. And I was like, you know what? Hoax or not, I'm wearing my mask, I'm doing hand sanitizer, I'm gonna do whatever they're telling me to do because I hate to not do it and then get my parents sick.
Yeah.
Right.
Get somebody else sick because I'm, you know, being stubborn and disobedient, you know. Nah, I'm good. So.
And kind of thing, I was telling my wife, you know, sometimes people, you know, you heard the horror stories about COVID. So people's like, well, I've been sick and I wasn't that bad off or so. And I think if they was more honest of saying like, it may not make you sick at all, and they said that, it may not make you sick, but it could kill the next person. But when you put it out there, oh, it's like a monster, and then somebody contracted it and they're not sick at all, and it was like, see, that was a lie. You know, so just be honest. You know, you have one side saying, oh, it's so terrible, then the other side saying, it ain't nothing. Let's meet in the middle. It may not be terrible for you, but the next person, take them out. So I think if people would have did that a lot better a long time ago, we'd have been all right.
But that's what the thing about it is, it was so new. No one knew the answers. And because no one knew the answers, you had a group of individuals telling you that it can kill you. It's very serious. And then you have another group that's saying, it's not real, then you got so many other people like, okay, they're both lying, and then you have 1,000,001 conspiracy theories. You know?
They are everywhere. They are there.
I was watching.
Conspiracy theory has taken over 2020. It took over. That's all I saw, and it was like, geez, like, is everybody losing their mind? You know, like, and like Tamika said, a lot of it came from misinformation.
False media.
Sometimes it's easier to say that we think, but we don't know for sure, instead of saying, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you often have people going on social media, on, you know, different outlets, and telling you this information, and saying this is what it is, instead of saying this could be, or this is what I heard.
Y'all get some of the, cause I would get like little messages from people saying, oh, don't do this, they're talking about this, and I'm like, you know, that's like, you know, scam, right? don't open that
False
up.
information.
Yeah, and they're spreading it because they think it's true, because one person started like a chain letter, you know, and it just keeps going and going, so.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
then,
would tell people to stop sending me stuff like that, please, unless you are a doctor.
then they would say things like, oh, they made the vaccine too quick. It's just like the first person made an airplane. It took years to come up with an airplane. We went years without it, but once you started making them, you knew the formula. So like the vaccine, it's not a new vaccine. You've been taking chickenpox vaccine. They got new formulas to vaccine. So it's nothing new. It's like, oh, it takes 15 years to make a vaccine. How can they make it into? It don't take 15 years to make it. You can make a car in 20 minutes. You imagine Ford trying to make the first car. It took them years. So like, once you get the formula, it's false information. It's too fast.
And that's why it's something else. I think people really definitely need to be mindful of like what they put out. Like even if you don't think you have like a platform where you like a show or anything like that, people are still paying attention to what you say. So it's always somebody that's looking to see what you think, and it's kind of scary that a lot of times a lot of people, they don't really think for themselves. I hate to say that, but it's true. They go off what other people think, or public figures, or people that they're close to. They'll listen to what they say and believe what they think. So if they say something that is fake, then they automatically don't believe anything else that's going on. They think that it's a hoax as well. So it's like those people, you have to be mindful of the things that you put on social media, because there's so many people that are watching what you're saying, and that rubs off on them, and it's kind of like an echo chamber to a point to where you only believe the stuff that you see on your timeline. You only like agree with everything people are telling you, like your friends and everything. So if that's all you see on your timeline and it's fake, then that goes into people's mind, and anything that goes against that, they don't want to pay attention to it. It's like whatever it is, if somebody's saying it's fake, they automatically just agree with it. It's like it's a hoax. So it's like people need to be mindful of the things that they put on social media.
And your phones are geared to whatever it is you're looking for.
Exactly.
If you're looking for it being fake, you're going to get 1,000,000 messages. You're going to get 1,000,000 feeds to say, oh, it's fake. If you believe it's serious, then the phone is going to tailor to whatever your thoughts are.
Artificial intelligence.
Data manipulation.
Yeah. But did you guys like tune into any of those versus battles?
Yes.
That was collaboration. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It was something creative that came out of it.
That was crazy. That was cool. That was cool.
But I definitely, like I said, like something like the verses, but it forced people to, come up with creative ways. So I think it was a lot of people that had to, it forced them to do other things and come out of this pandemic, even though we're still in, it forced them to go to a drawing board and come up with different ways to be creative and do different things. And I just hate to see a lot of the smaller businesses,
Still struggling.
Yeah, still struggling. Some of them are closing down or not even coming back at all just because of this pandemic. So I'm always, those are the people that I feel really bad for, the ones that were already barely making it to provide for their employees and their families. And then when this hit, this just completely just took them all the way out of it. And now it's like a lot of them won't even be able to come back.
Like in the barbershop, where I used to have walk-ins. Guys stop in the other day, like, hey, you take a walk? I'm like, no, I can't. I got appointments. So that's just revenue you turn away because you got to make an appointment. It's not the traditional way you can just walk in and get a haircut no more.
I think it's had a positive effect on, and me and TJ talked about it a little bit, on the individuals who have careers or jobs that can be done online, but then you have some whose, you know, careers or their jobs, they cannot do it online. You know, some people can't work from home.
Right.
And it affects those people greatly. And, you know, a lot of them just have fallen through the cracks, and like you said, they've closed down or they lost revenue, you know.
How working from home, speaking of it, you know, how have you guys adjusted with the, you know, the virtual schooling? Like, did you see any improvements from 2020?
I said we going back to school. Y'all
ready to go back to school?
You going back to school.
Stay in school, kid. Stay in school. Oh,
I have to say, virtual school, it may work for older children, I'm not sure, but younger children, they need to be in school, they need to be with a teacher, and I can guarantee you, all the parents who were saying, those teachers don't do anything, they ain't teaching them nothing, they ain't doing this, I guarantee you, you appreciate the teachers now. Because it's very hard, it's very difficult, and we have just our children. They have a class full of them, and you know, I struggled, you know. I struggled, and we had to take turns because I was like, okay, I'm about to blow a casket, you know, still in here, so yeah, it was a journey.
And
do what's best for you, though. Don't let my influence do what's best for you. For me, it was hard, but for anybody else, if it works for you, and if it's more safe for you, do it. Don't let me influence you.
What time does school start though? Virtual school, is it different from regular school?
8:30, 8:45, so.
Yeah, you know, there's a little lenience there.
Yeah,
you know,
for
so I'm like, hey, like.
I mean, for the kids, because they're like, okay.
They love it.
I don't have to go to school till 8:30, and I can put my pajamas, I can go play Fortnite. So you're on Fortnite, so you ain't writing this paper, and you know, you ain't learning, and I'm like, oh no, I can't do it.
I don't know if parents do it.
Do the kids play on the Skype like they make like the memes and stuff? Like do they really play around?
They block them where they can't see their face, but I see my son, he'll be texting and chatting to one another, like, where are you typing? You look over, you see him chatting, you're like, no.
They had to
that's
block
irrelevant,
the
yeah.
kids from chatting at one point because they were
There's
putting.
too much of it going on.
Yeah.
Some kids actually,
they
going out as an administrator and changing.
They're
When
changing.
they first started, the Zoom it worked great with, you know, but the video lessons.
They were muting the teacher get muted, you know, and some kids were starting class on their own, and
It was like a social network for them.
But you know what's crazy
You
though?
guys doing Zoom for work though.
All the time. All the time. Microsoft Teams all the
So
time.
you know, you might start saying, I'm doing Zoom and I'm zoomed out. Because everybody wants you to be on camera, and I ain't gonna lie, I had my fat pants on and my t-shirt on. I don't wanna be on camera, I don't wanna see you, but I dial in or whatever, but it's a lot. And that seems like it's just constant.
No.
You know, instead of the 9 to 5 going into work, now it's like, you know, you on meetings at 7 o'clock at night, for me. Just from the volunteer space and that, that's a lot all day long.
And that's why I said I hope we don't get to a point to where we get so used to like doing Zoom or Skype that we don't have like these physical interactions. Because for me, to me, doing this, the energy wouldn't be the same if we're not all sitting here in the same room together having this conversation. It just wouldn't feel the same. So that's why I was like, I hope, I know a lot whenever this ends, that a lot of businesses, they gonna look at it like from a business point, from like the cost, like they'll be able to cut a lot of costs, so they'll probably keep doing like the virtual. But I just don't like doing it. I like to, you know, get out and, you know, interact with people because I feel like it's like it's more genuine. You can feel their energy instead of just doing something online, virtual. And then of course, like connections and then anything like that. So I just hope we don't get to that point where we lose contact with just interacting with people.
One good thing about it though, I always try to find a positive in anything. It kept people, you didn't hear about many car wrecks. You know, at night, people going to different parties and stuff. It helped us out because you can't go nowhere. You stay at home, you go
Look at you.
It's saying,
You keep that.
you just gotta learn to find the good out of any situation. I'm like, well, at least, thank God, no children died in the car wreck this weekend. Thank God, you know, that's how I look at it. A lot of them, 'cause they was at home, you know.
Yeah.
All right,
So your
so,
parents, you think about stuff like that, you got
Yeah.
kids. Yeah.
so as we transition, we'll get ready to do like we did at the end of the first season. We'll start pulling some questions out of the bowl. And
You gonna go?
whoever goes first.
Ladies
Jay?
first.
Ah. Okay. What do you want to get out of season 2?
Well, you want to get our season 2?
I'm ready for that.
Ladies.
Go ahead.
That's actually one of my questions too. So
Yes.
we're thinking alike.
Now,
I would like to get where we are providing more information to people that's helpful, that they can take away and apply to their situations. So it's not kind of just a one, you know, oh, that was nice to hear, and then, you know, they kind of leave it there. So I like for us to bring on guests that can really help people. So that's what I'm looking at.
Oh, that's good.
I'd like to get out of it, as far as helping people, I'd like to get more input from the individuals in Union, the residents. I like to know, you know, I like to get feedback, some more feedback so we can get, you know, that information out to them. Because we know we want to improve, but, you know, there's always someone out there who has other ideas. So it'd be nice if someone wants to, you know, give us some input, some feedback, you know, some ideas from your point of view, your situation, because we all have different situations.
Yeah. You know, we have like 13 people, it's in and out, and I'm just keep going. Should we all have understudies? Understudies, whose question is that? Understudies? Is that you? No? Is that you?
Should we, let's
Is
be,
that you?
understudies, like far as community wise,
Yeah.
like your job, your whatever. I'm asking like, are we teaching the next generation?
Oh, like apprentices.
Apprentices,
Yeah.
that's what I mean, well, you know, I said apprentices, yeah. Should we all have apprentices, like, not just us, throughout the community?
Yes. And you know, I thrive off that. If y'all don't know anything else about me, like when I worked at DSS, that's what I got out of it the most, was helping those children. And I think if you're in a position to help someone, to help get them to the next level, educate them, do it. You know what I mean? And do it out of the kindness of your heart.
Right.
Because it's helping your community. It's helping us kids. It's helping the next generation. And they have to build after we leave. You know?
I think that'll help the community wise, like, if everybody grab one, each one teach one.
Mhm.
How can we go about that? I mean, like, what are some ideas?
That's probably thousands of programs out there. I would love for trades to be passed down to continue to build the infrastructure of this great nation of the United States of America. Yeah, guys, just, you know, grab a book, grab a hand, reach out to someone, each one teach one, show somebody something. Don't feel that everybody's your competition. Like,
Yeah.
you know, God made you uniquely you. You know, what's for you is for you. You know, and sometimes, you know, you may be someone else's assignment and they may be your assignment. So, you know, just spread the love and spread the joy and teach one. You know, if you got a resource now, I'm telling you right now, don't overextend yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself without, because, you know, who's going to take care of you besides yourself, really? Who loves you?
Mhm.
You know? But, yeah, of course, TJ, great question. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we should have understudies and apprentices and mentors and mentee programs, and it should be something that is greatly encouraged here in Union County. But
And it doesn't have to be formal, it doesn't have to be a
No.
program, it's just
No,
you,
just you.
picking somebody that you think
Take-
can take the reins from you.
Like,
Or just help you out. They don't have to be in this area.
I see so many individuals that are coming up with their own business, cooking. You know, I've seen a lot of chefs that are, you know, individuals who just sell food or cook. There's some young people that need to learn how to cook or maybe want to cook, you know. There's some young people who want to fish and hunt. There's some young people who want to garden, you know, and those things are not, you know, and even sewing, you know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
looking for a shoe collar. Who's
there-
gonna do that?
those things still have to be done, you know, so, you know, if you have that skill set, can you pass it down?
Right.
I would love to.
When we look at it, sometimes it's like they taking over, but no, you just help. You know what I mean? I mean, I was the type of person, I stay loyal to you till I die. You know, I stay with you and not even try to take your business. You know.
You know what? I'm gonna put this out there. Somebody probably already done it. You're gonna steal it or whatever. But you know, we have things for relationships like Match.com and stuff like that. What if we had something where like mentorships, mentormentee.com, and you could sign up and you know, I'm looking for a mentor because I'm interested in this, and you get matched up with that person. You know, that's something we could probably do locally.
Is it a paid
Yeah.
subscription? Would that business be a paid subscription?
If it takes off, it could be. You take, looking.
It could be something that you and Tommy Talk put together to match up people who are interested in a certain thing, and hey, here's the person that can help you and guide you.
Sounds like you got legs.
Yeah, I think it's all about giving kids like that exposure. Like even if they don't stick with it, at least they've been exposed to it. Like they have the knowledge. Okay, I've done this in the past, and maybe as they get older, they might want to circle back around to it. Like even like working in the media, like it just popped in my head. Like I wouldn't mind, you know, every now and then getting the chance to like have somebody come shadow me. Like I'll tell anybody, like I'm still learning myself every day. I'm not perfect, but somebody took me under their wings. I'll never forget when my senior year at college, Coach Dick Cox, he took me on his wings and took me to cover all professional games, and he didn't ask me anything. He just took me under his wings. So I wouldn't mind, you know, paying that forward and, you know, showing somebody else the ropes. Like, this is what I learned, and just passing it down to them. And then I tell them, you don't owe me anything, just pass it down to the next person.
I hope you find that.
Yeah, and one thing, something else about it is because like working in the media that I noticed, it's not a lot of African Americans in that space already. So we don't get to tell our stories a lot of times, and when they are told, you know, a lot of times they're told from a standpoint of us coming from these broken homes and different things like that. So I definitely feel like it needs to be more of us in those spaces to tell our stories and to educate our people, because a lot of times when we get this information from people that look like us and that have been in these situations, we accept it more because they can relate to us. So I definitely feel like, you know, giving kids that exposure, it would be great. And also, even when you are coaching somebody, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't learn something from them also. Like it's been times where people have taught me things where like they would ask me about some feedback on certain things about like what kind of camera did I use or certain things, and then I would see some things that they done. I'm like, hey, how did you do that? So it's always, even if you're like in a mentor standpoint, you can still learn something from somebody else that you're teaching also.
They keep you in the loop with, especially with the way things are going now. Like me, even with this podcast, the first thing I want to do is let's get a newspaper or a radio show. And I'm like, nah, I'm doing a podcast. And somebody younger had to put that in my attention. Me, I heard radio my whole life, so it's hard to want to change. But a younger person actually helps you out in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No doubt. Next one. Okay. Nice, great pick there.
Black Lives Matter mural.
Oh, that was wonderful. You mean this time we talked, we had some co-guests out there that really helped work on that. I mean,
Yeah, that was awesome.
tell us more about that experience.
Who literally led that? Josh Meadows, right?
So it started with Trey Clowney first.
Trey Clowney first, yeah.
Right. So him and his family members and the group of artists that he was pulling together. This is, to my understanding, what I was told. They actually put it together and come up with the concept. And of course, once he
Tell us about who Trey Clowney is.
Trey Clowney, gosh, a young man, entrepreneur, artist, loves motorcycles and bikes. I know his mother and father, he's the third, so there's Stanley County. And I just think that he was inspired to do stuff as a young person, and a lot of young people maybe aren't given recognition for what they're doing out there. And he was really bringing folks together in the artist community. And the Black Lives Mural was a result of his efforts.
Okay, see, I always thought Josh Meadows did.
So Josh Meadows was one of the ones. So
Yeah.
when I talked to Josh about it, he told me that it was all really Trey Conley's idea. And he just helped to bring it to fruition after he
brought
was killed.
Yeah.
And then Pastor Gloria Fleming, she went to, spoke on his behalf at the board, at the city council meeting, and she spoke passionately and eloquently about the fact that they should support it. So there were some issues about where it would go, Foster Park, then they wound up putting it over at the Jared Moore Hall. And I think it's more appropriate. Right.
It's more appropriate. At first I was kind of bad about it, but it was more appropriate. I was like, it was smacking in the face, but
Yeah,
it was actually good, that it was there.
yeah, I think it's more appropriate than
And they're getting nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Some people don't see that, but it was all about peace, and it started off with Colin Kaepernick and some others saying, let's bring light to police's injustices. And there was no that's not true. There's no need. Then you see what happened on January 6th. You see the difference. Then saying you should have killed those people, but just treat those people the same way, treat black people the same way you treated those people. You did everything you could not to hurt. And that's what Black Lives Matter mural stood for. And I say Good Samaritan. You see somebody been beat, robbed, stole, taken from, that's what happens in the black community. It's beaten, robbed, stole. You need to do what you can to help out as much as you can and not think that it's something against you. It was just saying, hey, do everything in your power not to harm or shoot. Take them to jail if that's where they deserve to go, not bullets in the back.
Yeah, no, I agree with you today. And just wrapping up that Black Lives Matter mural, it was great. We got some artwork in town. We really don't really have too much, murals. We have the train over there by the city hall. That was nicely done. But other than that, that's the second big body piece of work that we had done in town. So, maybe we can get it featured on the tourism board or something as a stop you make, then you can see that side of town and go over there, it's right beside the library, so it's just a stop and a hip away, so. Yeah. Oh, it's only this time. Well, let me take this one right here. This one might do some work right here. Oh, we talked about this already. Oh, I did this one. So this one was to say something about appreciation of where we live. And you can use United States, you can use Union County, you can use South Carolina, but just something that you appreciate about where we live. I go first. I love the people. I like our culture. I didn't realize how Southern I was.
To you,
And then, so I get out there. And then I just, I know I'm kind of conservative, certain things, certain things people do, out in public, I'd be like, it might rub the wrong way, but, back at home, no, we don't have like that too much, We're pretty nice, hospitable people, and, our manners that we have really take us a long way, so that's something that I appreciate about South Carolina Union as a whole. It's just coming from a place where hospitality is something that is just inbred in you, nobody grows up angry here, you know what I'm saying? Nobody grow up like something happens, you know what I'm saying? But I think we, people say our culture is, it has its different opinions, but overall, it's pretty still kind of, one of hospitality, people still hold the door for you in Union, you know what I'm saying? You might not let them open your car because you don't know them, but Or you, Dollar Tree, going there. Yeah.
I remember you talking about that. I remember I had a friend, his wife was a doctor over here, and he actually used to be over the tourism board. His name was Cole, and he actually brought his friends down from Ohio. And I remember being in the barbershop with a guy from Ohio, and he actually came in the barbershop, and we all spoke, and kind of made friends with him real quick.
It's just us.
And the dude had tears in his eyes. I was like, "What are you crying for, dude? What's wrong with you, man? Up here in the barbershop." He was like, "I just can't believe how friendly and nice everybody is, And I think COVID kind of, is gonna have us back to that point where you don't speak to people, like up north, some places, some of the places you have to be more careful how you speak to people.
Yeah.
You say, "Hey, why are you speaking to me?"
Yeah.
And it's kind of straight. You
Yeah.
mind your own business. You don't say nothing to anybody. But here, it was a little bit more hostile.
Yeah.
But now I'm afraid of with the COVID, you can't shake hands, you can't dap up,
Right.
and it's gonna kind of build us to the point where
Yeah.
we kind of standoffish.
Yeah, and yeah, like you said, people hide behind that mask just like they hide behind those keyboards and type out that mask that they do, you know what I'm saying? So just another veil to, cover people up for who they really are, so, but.
Well, I wanted to just go back a little bit for the Black Lives Matter mural, because I thought that you don't see maybe a lot of that in Union County, where people just all kind of come together, regardless of color, financial background, whatever it is. Everybody kind of came together, and just rest in peace to Trey. Honor to his mom, Latoya Smith, and his dad, Stanley Clown II.
But
And
it's
just
alright.
having everybody come together, and I think you're seeing more groups, form now to do positive things in Union County. And it's not, they're not trying to make $1, they're not trying to do anything other than help the community. So I think that's what I appreciate now, that I'm seeing a lot more of that, in spite of COVID-19. I mean, people got they're masked up, they're out there getting it done, so.
Hey, and shout out to the Conley family. Next
Yeah.
generation credit repair business guys. Just open up. They doing it, so they're doing it for their loved ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about kind of Stanley, he was sort of like me. He was talking about his clothing and all that kind of stuff. He had got to the point where you don't care about the labels and the clothes, and I think that, especially in our community, it was like the more you spend on your outfit, the better you are. But me, I saw this blue jean jacket at Walmart. Now, I've been wanting a blue jean jacket, but I wasn't paying no $100 for a blue jean jacket. I'm not gonna do that. This is not me. I saw one at Walmart for $22, and guess what I did? I got my blue jean jacket, and I was laughing because Stanley said the same thing, and he's got a business going. He owns seafood on Main, and he had a foundation now in the honor of Trey.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
know
that
that.
I read that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah, I saw that as something that he inspired him to do. I saw him put it on. I don't want to misspeak, but I saw that. But speaking of that, where we live, some people, I remember, hearing people brag about clothes and shoes and all that, but not in a position to be doing that all the time. I don't know. Once you've been there and done that, you grow up and learn. And I hope somebody can get something out of that.
What do you, just not pulling one out, guys, what do you guys think about this continued culture of, keeping quiet? We've had some recent incidents about, some homicides in town that, still, it's like cold case out here, we're gonna be on the show next.
I'm the wrong person to ask. Are you talking about snitching and stuff like that?
Is there something?
No, I'm asking just like, what about what is this culture that we have?
Yeah, she talking about we got there. She right. She like.
Snitching thing. When people say, you're not supposed to snitch.
Yeah.
But don't look at me, because I'm gonna give your name, your social.
Right.
I'm giving everything up. So let y'all know now. Don't come around me. Do anything.
Right.
So I can shoot to me to kill her. But if you say I shot to me to kill her, you a snitch. You the bad person because you.
Yeah.
And then thing about police, I make some of them mad. A lot of them, they get names.
Yeah.
They get names. Okay, when somebody give you a name, they made the job a whole lot easier now. You can't expect people to go in there and write a statement, because I'm not gonna write a statement on you.
No.
I mean, I'm not gonna do that. I shouldn't have to.
They should make them virtual.
Yeah, well, back in the day, if somebody got caught on camera, he said, oh, they got them on tape. Like, no, you can have it on tape, and people still want it.
Right? Yeah.
You won't do that, but and like you said, it's the culture.
crazy.
Trying to stay on this topic.
Crazy.
When the officers do have to do their job too, I tell them to the face. When somebody give you a name, that's one thing I did like what Sheriff Bailey said. He did say that, and I hope he stay true to that. If somebody tell you who done it, leave them out. Go investigate. You got cameras everywhere. You got people got yard cameras. You got cameras. You come down here, you're on camera. I'm tell you right now, you in video surveillance. You do something stupid, that's on you. So don't do nothing stupid, and then don't protect those who done something stupid. Because you're going to keep getting stupid things done. And I won't say stupid because it's stupid. Some of the things that happen. And it's very stupid. That's why I was never an Ice Cube fan. He started out, you snitch. He would make statements like that. He even did it. Yeah, he even did it when he was in the movie Right or Wrong.
Yep.
He's a police officer. He going to call his guy. But see, that's the culture they put in us. He called a man a snitch and he a police.
And going back to what Carlos was saying, people see that stuff and they start absorbing it and they think that that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's not how it's
And
supposed to
then
be.
you wonder why he supported his candidate. I'm like, you never was for your community. These rappers and stuff, they're not for you. They are made to brainwash you to get this kind of stuff continued on.
Celebrities.
Yeah.
That's
A
how
lot
they
of it
do
goes back to, like you said, the era of the 80s, the Ice Cube, it passed down, but in that culture it was, once upon a time it was loyalty or, to a certain group or whatever. But then as things passed along, different generations got a little different, and they got worse. It's sad to say, but it got worse. And now I think a lot of young people don't even have a conscience to say they even care.
They don't.
And so,
Desensitized.
yeah,
What do
they
you
are.
think? Video games and stuff?
Video-
Play
They
all
are.
that?
And speaking
Rap
of
music.
being desensitized, me and my son, TJ Jr., we were trying to explain to his dad why millennials or Gen Z, why they are not as sensitive about certain topics, because you can speak on if it's going to be a shooting or people, race war, and then younger people are like, oh, okay. And it's like, you don't care, you're not scared, and it's kind of like, look what we grew up with. You grew up with 9/11. You grew up with multiple mass shootings. You grew up with, wars. You grew up with so many things, and we saw these things. We saw it on the internet. We saw it on TV. So it became a norm to that generation. Violence became a norm.
Change the behavior.
So they can kill people and don't even think nothing else about
So
it.
the generation is desensitized. A lot of older people may see someone that passes and is like, why aren't you speaking up? This is a good person. But the younger people are like, hey, it can happen to anybody. They were brainwashed that way. They were trained that way from media. Some of it came from culture. Some of it came from music. It came from a lot of places. They were raised that way.
What do you guys think about our media? The way,
You out for fish bowl.
just one question. 'Cause this is what I want to ask about it. When you look at our media now and the way that they project our politicians, they can really, people that are really trying to get things pushed across or, hold things back, they can really shape you as the villain or the hero in here. And, it is so powerful. That's why I love this podcast, because it's like a little media outlet and we get to question the things that aren't being questioned. You nailed it with the desensitized. Yeah, millennials really are and then it's like I'm a millennial, so
Yeah,
we
Not right now. If it ain't happening right now, I'm not worried about it. That's the difference. You're the right now generation.
And
that's
instant
terrible.
gratification want instant.
And that's good for some point, but you gotta learn to balance. Like I tell my family, y'all want to be right now. But if it weren't for that, and we just think right now, you're gonna be hungry when COVID hit you. You have nothing in the freezer.
Yeah.
And finally, you're like,
TJ went and bought a lot of food
I keep
because we
food,
me. I was like, well, go to the grocery store, we get hungry.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, hey, it'll be all right. So,
They was talking about a race war, man. Come on,
Did
you
you
can't
get seeds?
do
'Cause
it.
I would've got seeds.
I was playing anyway.
That was man.
I played fish and all.
Oh man.
like the Capitol, you know, when that happened at the Capitol,
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, you know, I'm like, okay. You know, they're acting crazy, you know what I'm saying? But then you had others who were like, okay, this is gonna affect us and it's gonna happen here. We gotta get prepared. We gotta worry. And I'm like, you can get shot in Walmart. There are mass shootings all the time. So it's kind of like our generation we kind of more chill when it comes to that than the
To the
older
attitude.
generation.
And you know what? It's something about that. To me, I honestly wasn't surprised
On the
by
Capitol?
what happened. Like,
No.
you know, I was surprised.
disrespectful. It was completely disrespectful to the United States.
Yeah, but I wasn't surprised. And then I was surprised by the outcome.
It was talked about the whole time. Like, I'm like, but see, not me.
Terrorism.
The young people, like I tell my wife, I said they've been planning it. Not only was it not the capital, they was talking about if you can't go to the capital, go to your state capital. I'm like,
Mhm.
they're like, you see what happened? Like they've been talking. You watching them?
Mhm.
They've been talking about doing it for the last. They've been talking about since he lost the election. They was talking about we're gonna go storm the capital. If you can't make it there, go storm your capital. So I'm just surprised.
And not to make it all about him, but when you have a leader, somebody that has that much power, and he tells people to do these type of things, it's dangerous. And the way that how it played out was, I mean, of course, you hate to see people lose their lives, but it's like I'm not surprised. You can see how they treated these people there. They taking selfies with them or anything like that. It's like had it been the other way around, you already know. But you know that's the thing. So I'm like I'm not really surprised how the whole thing played out. And I can say when you had somebody.
A lot of us were surprised.
No.
No, not us. We weren't
Yeah.
proud at all. We were like,
I was upset. I was upset.
I just say, please do us the same way you did them.
I was surprised.
Mhm.
I was mad as a retired Army vet. I was
Yeah.
mad.
But it was disrespectful for Kaepernick to just get on his knee. And then
Exactly.
like, come on, I don't make no. Don't ever in your life say again, he disrespecting our flag.
It's hypocritical.
Very.
You know, that's the whole thing, that you're being the biggest hypocrite it
Yeah.
is, you know. You want to say this is unpatriotic to do this, but yet
Yeah.
attack your own.
And they wanna label those folks as uneducated and they don't know any better. But no. There was quite a few folks out there that know exactly what they want.
You see the lady that was like, we gonna storm the Capitol, we gotta do it. Then she was later on, she was asking to I want the president to pardon me. I'm like, if he pardon you, he need to go to yeah. And then now you have he's not, you did it. Just like me going to commit a crime and quit the job, or if I go do something in Georgia and move out of Georgia and say, well, you can't charge me against that because I'm no longer in Georgia. Come on now, you do the crime.
I was ready, if I led y'all to do the robbery,
Yeah.
y'all were just as guilty
Just as
as
guilty.
me.
If I wrong with
But that's what first degree murder is. If I told you to go do it and I don't even go, that's you.
Exactly.
Let's get back to the fish.
Great question.
Stimulus payment.
Oh,
That's why you can't go to Walmart. Keep those stimulus checks in your pocket, please.
I'm glad our country put something out, you know what I'm saying? It might not be what people needed, and it might not be in the speed that they needed, but I am really happy that money was able to go out to
That's
to families that needed it, and the people that didn't get that second round one, you know, that's crazy. Like, what is that hiccup? What
They got it now, they paper checks. They came in
a lot of it was
this
mail.
They got this weekend. You went by Walmart last Saturday, you'll see.
No, I see him in there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I tell you, people said like those other countries got more money than us, but what you gotta realize is we are American. We are the boss. All of these goods. Matter of fact, this microphone right here might have been made in Indonesia somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome. You know what I'm saying? It's like so I'm like, hey guys, like let's take care. Let's not be so selfish now. You know. Now, as far as the whole controversy once again with the media, making it seem like it was like taking people on this emotional roller coaster. I mean, that might have been worse than COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like, counting something that,
I think that, I guess I have a fundamental problem with the fact that Congress manages our money. Our money. It's not their money.
Right.
It's the people's money. So when when they make oh, well, we can't be in debt, we can't go any more debt. Well, I don't know what $1 trillion looks like, but $1 trillion and 1 billion, or trillion, what's the cutoff? What is it that you guys think is the number that is gonna make us whole? We're never gonna be whole as a country. We're in debt.
Right.
We are in debt country. We're gonna stay in debt.
Right.
In the meantime, maybe we shouldn't give money to corporations that have all kinds of money already.
And all the money that, even like the little stimulus check, it's going right back to the corporation.
Exactly.
They gonna go right back.
To live.
It's
So
going back into the economy, like,
it makes more sense to
And
give
it's
it to the
fiat.
people, so it goes into the economy than to give it to a corporation.
yeah,
They just
Right.
invested in the stock market.
exactly.
And you know what happened with the stock market recently?
It's keeping jobs going if you think about it, because you have stockers in these stores, you have people in these distribution centers and things that are getting these packages together, Amazon and all this. It's keeping the economy going, it's keeping their jobs going, because you're spending. If you have nothing to spend, then economy shuts down.
You know, what gets me is when you hear the little guys, they spending our money, they spending our tax dollars, and they go out and don't be passing out their money. That's our tax dollars going to the welfare, they're like, man, shut up.
Do you believe that the stimulus check could have come off as like socialistic,
We should have been getting checks every month.
Every month. I mean, like,
Every
yeah,
month.
yeah.
Well, if you look at the whole picture of trying to stop the pandemic, and you look at other countries that are trying to do the same thing, and they're not as wealthy. Well, what they said is, we're gonna shut it down. We're gonna pay our people to basically stay home so that we can actually overcome COVID-19. So right now, we're always trying to be the first in the world, but we're the first in the number of people that are dead.
400-something, yeah.
So what does that tell you? You can't be a leader and do crazy stuff. You can't, it doesn't make sense. The hypocrisy is so real.
Well, we was too busy of building the wall. We was too busy of, what was the next thing? Build the wall, then it was division. We was doing all of that. And the whole time people were suffering, people was dying
Yep.
out of hate.
Yep.
You build a wall. Don't build a wall. Tell you what you do. You coming over here, all right. Now I'm gonna give you an ID, I'm gonna get your fingerprint. You better have an ID card on you. You're gonna pay to be over here. You're gonna pay tax. You're gonna go to work. You're gonna
I'm
pay.
all for that.
And
I'm all for
then
that.
you pay. It's a way to stop
Be
that.
counted.
Yeah, be counted.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have to have an ID. If you don't have it, we're gonna take a ride. We're gonna
That's it.
take you a ride. If you don't have ID, we're gonna give you another one, and you're gonna be fine. Because they don't wanna live here anyway. They wanna come over here and make money and go back soon. Hey.
Mom, come here and make money.
Why you
Taxes
living?
away here.
Buy groceries.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're paying into the system already, so it doesn't make any sense to bar those people from trying to be part of the system.
But you know why you borrow though? You don't want them over here because I'm not even going
Do you think there'd be a third one? Do you think there'd be a third stimulus?
Yeah.
It should.
Probably,
You
if
can see that.
they want to shut down and get it under control, they're probably gonna have to.
You think? Okay, so you think that? So I mean,
I
yeah.
don't know what it's gonna
When you
look like.
think about
But
the number of people, this is more than wars combined.
More than Vietnam War, all that.
More than several wars combined that people are gone because of COVID-19. I don't think that resonates with a lot of people because, like we talked about before, it doesn't hit you close to home until it does.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just need people to raise up their aperture, open up their aperture. Just a camera reference.
But I think they're gonna have to do something though, because I feel like a lot of people feel that pressure to where they feel like even if they are sick, they have to go to work because if they don't, they can't pay their bills. So it puts people in a tough position. Okay, am I gonna not have my lights today because I don't want to go to work, and even though I know I'm sick, so it's like they got to figure out some kind of way to
That's why
they want to shut it down. You got to take care of the people. Not saying you have to do it forever, but at least
Two,
till everything gets under control. But I think sometimes I feel like they might feel like Congress may feel like people don't want to go back to work, and that did happen a lot with some people with unemployment. A lot of them started making more being unemployed, so they didn't want to go back to work. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough, but you can't fault everybody. You still
Right.
have to take care of the people because it's a lot of people that's still out of work and they still trying to find a job, but you gotta help keep them afloat.
You know how that affects some individuals who have to work and they have small children. You have to pay daycare. If you tell me I can't go to work and my job says, we're not gonna pay you if you take off, and then you have this child who has to go back to daycare when you go back to work, but you had no income while you were out, you know, it's so much, it affects people in so many different ways, but you're so busy looking at your situation, you're not worried about it.
You know, we were talking about generations earlier, and I wholeheartedly believe that because our Congress and our senior leaders are just in fact senior leaders. You're talking about folks that are boomers,
exactly.
They are totally disconnected from these young
Yeah.
And they're totally disconnected. And in a lot of cases, some of them have been in those jobs for 20, 30, 40 years. And you know what? Maybe it's time for the new school to get in there.
Yeah, and
And
they
try
get,
something different.
yeah,
you know?
they getting paid and they getting so much money. Just career politicians.
Yeah.
I'm all for a change. I'm all for evolving. I'm all for,
Yeah.
putting new, how about down in Georgia? I mean, give a shout out to Stacey Abrams. Did very well. I mean, guys,
Definitely help.
yeah, guys, this is the time we are making history right now. Right now, you know what I'm saying, talking about this, people will go back and look at this 20, 30 years from now and be like, oh yeah, man, we found this little podcast called Unionstown We Talk, and they really own these topics, you know what I'm saying? It's a good show. Tune in, I'm telling you, it's gonna be there.
I said, there you go right there, guy. He trying to work for himself. He said this. I'd be like, I work for myself. You can't get mad. I work for myself. I'm not gonna
Speaking of Stacey Abrams in Georgia, you know, it was shocking to me how many black people had voted for the first time. You know,
Well, that goes both ways. That goes both ways though, because even a lot of, you're finding out now that a lot of Trump supporters were the people who never thought about government. They went and got people who never voted, and that's why they're so afraid to go against him now, because we done pulled out, I'm not gonna say the word, but we done took out the supremacists, the ones who never vote, never thought, and we done pulled them in for the very first time. So then, like, we can't lose that base. So it was
I was genuinely shocked because since I was able to vote, I have voted, you know, and I'm shocked, and I guess, I can't say it's because, you know, I went to college or educated or anything like that, because I guess those people around me voted also. When we got to college, they drilled it in you, vote, your vote counts, you know. And then, you know, my parents, they voted. They didn't go to college, but they did. They voted. So I was around people who voted to see that, you know, this was the biggest, you know, turnout of the election. Wasn't that a big one here in Union as well for a sheriff? You know, I didn't know that many people didn't vote, that they chose to say, I'm not gonna vote. And I was like, wow.
You know, that's near and dear to my heart with voting, so.
And that's why I feel like this platform is important, because it allows us to educate people. Because like I said, even for me, like with Sheriff Bailey, I never even knew what he looked like, never knew anything about him before we had him on last year. And Maccabee, Mr. Maccabee, I didn't know what he looked like. I never knew anything about these people that was running for office. So if I had to go in and vote previously when I was in college, and it was time on those polls, like I would see, first time I was able to vote, it was when Obama's second term. So okay, I pick Obama, and then anybody else, I'm just like, okay, I'm just picking names. I didn't know anything about the people that were here.
You gotta be more concerned about your local politician.
Right.
For and that's your main thing. Yeah, it's fun to pick a president, but your local government. That's where your money gonna go. That's what teachers, even the school board, that's gonna decide who's hired. You know, you find these teachers and you find out they're not interested in your child, or children, you know, they have certain friends that they look out further. You know, it's very important even with the school board.
Yeah, sorry to take us off topic. I just want to give a shout out to Georgia.
We have about 9 more minutes. So after I have one more thing I want to do before we close out.
We're gonna stay on top of this one.
Okay, this says Union County Little League.
Oh!
I didn't put that Saturday. I did not put this in there, y'all. But what Little League does, it teaches children to be law-abiding citizens, respect each other, respect people. That's the fundamental of Little League. And hopefully last year we couldn't play, and hopefully we can play this year. We're registering February 6th from 12 to 2 and February 13th. If you already registered from last year, you're good.
Yeah.
You just need to come in and update your information, phone numbers and that type of thing, and that's it. But I'm not gonna get on it too much. I didn't even put that in there.
Just had to do it.
Yeah, I appreciate the shout out.
Little League.
All right.
This is yours.
It's mine. So, from last season, Alex,
For me personally. Okay.
now, I'm going to host a singles virtual event.
Oh, yes.
Challenging you to join me. Should I do a couples one too for you to decide on?
Oh,
I honestly.
single people out there.
Girl, that ain't me no more.
Oh, yeah. From last season.
Hey! Oh, man! Yeah. Yeah, but guys, I think it's gonna be a great idea. Yeah. Is it free or is it?
How can we bring it to Union County? I mean, like,
We're gonna do it virtual. We have to do it virtual,
Okay.
right? So we have folks maybe sign up if y'all don't mind using Union this time we talk as the clearinghouse. We have people sign up, and we can have some games and stuff like that. Men versus women, couples versus singles. We can do a couple different things.
What's your age range? Tell me what.
Well, we have to do different age. The good thing about Zoom is you can do breakout rooms and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So we can do the breakout rooms based on ages, right? So we have some younger folks in the breakout room and in different age groups. So I think the issue is going to be some older people might want to be in the younger room.
That's okay, love.
So
It's around Valentine's Day, so it's gonna work out really well.
So tell me how this gonna work. What do they need to do? Like,
I'm gonna have to figure out how we can sign up. So
Zoom or something.
I get you guys. It'll be Zoom. It'll be Zoom.
so to break it down for the layman, what you gonna do? You gonna have a virtual, what is it, hookup section?
Keep going.
We can't play no game.
And you know what? You can do couple speed dating too. Where you think you know your partner.
Yeah.
Like a newlywed program.
Yeah.
But people always say they ain't got nothing to do. They always say they don't have nothing to do. You gotta be able to come up with ideas like that.
Newlywed game, you can kind of match people.
You can do it at home, you got
up,
nothing to do. So y'all hear that? Listen, what she's saying, somebody out there do a couples newlywed challenge, and you just have like you can't go on too many dates, so you just have a social event and date, and hopefully we can find some love in there for them.
For the singles.
And bring up and spice their relationship up for them.
Yeah.
Or make somebody mad. How you didn't know it? I see it. I don't want to be in there. So you don't tell me you don't know my favorite color?
Oh, yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you can have some Valentine prizes and things, Valentine's right around the
Anything to bring back.
Yeah, I missed that wave, guys. I tell you, I know.
He got something.
We got we have 5 more minutes left. I just wanted to close it out with this. This is the very beginning of Black History Month, so I wanted to close it out just asking everybody. I only felt it was right asking, because what does Black history mean to you all at this table?
Please tell us.
Black history is our heritage.
It's
It's a part of our, it's a part of American culture, it goes back to when this country was founded, there's a lot with Black history, and there's a lot of Black inventors, there's a lot of, Black culture has had a very big impact on the culture as a whole, this country as a whole. It really has shaped America. It's oftentimes you want to put, I can't say someone put a veil over their eyes and say that it's not a black and white thing, or it's that was years ago or whatever, but, you know, it's had an impact on every last one of us, from our grandparents to our parents who probably were segregated, our grandparents were segregated, to us, you know, who are now seeing racial injustice, you know, and that was a veil over that too. So it's a very important.
It's a very
And
cool.
I don't want to sound like we promote racism in any kind of way, because we're not. But the thing is that this country in itself has neglected the black race in so many ways until it benefits them, and we got to be careful of healing instead of dividing. So with that being said, I think if everyone be honest with themselves, we want to see that it's okay to put the statues up in the face and say that's our heritage, you know. But when you say something about injustice or so, that's too old or that's in the past. But you know,
You said everybody be honest with themselves. Would you like people to correlate Black History Month with honesty? You know, seeing it transparent, opening your eyes and seeing for what it really is. You know what I'm saying?
it was just limited to just that month. You know, that's
Right.
why is it not taught in school? You know,
Right.
I'm big on Tulsa. You know, people say,
Yeah.
you know, that happened in Tulsa, you know, and they want to put it like, oh, it just happened to them, but that happened to every single. It happened to everybody, because once you ramshack Tulsa, you let the world know. If you even thought about owning a business, if you even thought about trying to own a Negro in the League or anything, we gonna wipe you out. You know, so even Rosewood, just because it happened in those two places, they say, well, it didn't affect everyone. It affected everybody, because you knew then that it was like you stay in your place. If you get outside of that box, we gonna do what they did in Tulsa. You see Ice in Town, there was gonna be a time. You see Jeter's, that was gonna be a time. You see Allenberg, Tucker Town, there was gonna be time. But when you did that to Tulsa, you did that to those. You know, so I don't.
Who's that you to me?
You know, I think the term that I hear, they say celebrate Black History Month, right? So I would challenge everybody to, you know, celebrate year round.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of who you are, where you're from, learn something new that's not in the books. That maybe the history books you learned in school. Learn something new about Black history, because it's our history. You know, I know a lot of people say that, but I really believe it. Learn something new. And that includes us.
You
We need to do our
Yeah, you did a good piece on the jailhouse breaking in, the jailhouse lynching. You know, and the Remembrance Project, that was a great piece on history that I never heard about. And never knew.
Yeah, 1871 jail raid lynchings, you know, the KKK, and you know, it was a lot of people that were local to here, you know, which also means that those were people's grandfathers, great uncles, and you know, it's still people who are descendants of on both sides, the people that were lynched and the people that did the lynching. So, you know, the Union County Community Members Project, we talk about history, not division. I think somebody mentioned that already. So it's about the history, it's about telling the truth. And I'm not sure why you would be afraid of the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth,
Be
right?
hurting people. The truth be hurting people.
But it also sets you free, right?
Yeah.
So,
If you be honest with the truth, but you know, it also can say I'm not gonna fool with him, he's racist and all that kind of
Well, you
stuff.
should
That's
learn from the truth. You should learn from history. History is meant to be taken in as a lesson. You know, we're supposed to take, just like in school, you need to talk history. You're supposed to take lessons from that, and that's for everyone. So Black History Month, it's history. Learn from it. Treat people better. Treat people equally. Learn that we all have a part. You know.
can I just say one thing? We are having a vigil on the 12th of February at 5:30 p.m. and it's going to be over there at L.W. Long Community Resource Center, courthouse, the jail, right in that area. Come out. It's going to be a drive-through event. So you don't have to get out your car. You can actually drive through. We're asking people to flash their lights in honor of the men that were lynched in 1871. And we're trying to work on a historical marker. That's in the works. So we got the text approved with the that we're working on to make sure we tell those stories and tell them.
Accurate.
Accurate.
And that fact.
Are you
Right.
telling this story? Is that like a hobby?
No.
I'm telling you, you are doing it.
And been living in Union for how long now? This is.
Jeez, did you know the story? I never knew it. I never knew we had to jail with you.
How long you been back here? 2 to 3 years?
Since 2018, I retired, but, you know, we're trying to have the CCRP.
Find some more stories, yeah.
We're trying to have on, talking about guests, who else we're trying to have on this season? Frank Hart,
Yeah.
get Sheriff Betty back
Yeah.
here.
Get Sheriff Betty back.
I asked the United Way of the Piedmont if they may be interested in coming down here, so I'm working on that. So if y'all wonder why I'm saying all these names, it's because I'm the booking agent for our group.
Yeah. She's our talent acquisition specialist. Yes.
So I ain't gonna cut you off, Carlos.
And before we end, I just want to say that I don't want anyone to take anything that we're saying, like you said, it's nothing to do with race, division, because that's the last thing that we are here to do. But I also want to say that these are things that we need to have a conversation about, like I've told someone before. Until you have that conversation, you can't resolve. But one thing that is important is united we will stand, divided we will fall. We are the United States. We are a melting pot. We all come from different backgrounds and diversity, and we need to embrace that amongst each other and accept that amongst each other.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, way to wrap it
Yeah.
up.
What else I'm
We hope everybody enjoyed this. Like I said, this platform is not to divide, it's about educating, and it is Black History Month, so of course it is. It's so many things that, like I said, we didn't learn about our culture in school, so it's important for everybody to learn about these things. Like I said, if we don't have these conversations, you will never learn from it, and then of course it's like this history will be wiped away eventually over time. So it's important to learn about the culture, and that way we can bridge the gap and continue to move forward together as a country. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you didn't get a chance to watch this live, you'll be able to watch it on Amazon Music, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Pandora, as well as YouTube and my website, carlosksmith.com. So until next time, keep chasing your dreams. This is Union. It's Time We Talk, Season 2. Thank you for listening.